Welcome back to building in Minecraft. How to build a city. Today's episode, planning on building. So obviously, you've probably got ideas for buildings and all that jazz, but you know, it's a lot to think of. You've got, you know, big, tall skyscrapers or small little stores that are just there, and it's just a little, you know, overwhelming sometimes. And this is a simple way to get that simply out of the way, so it's not so much of a rush for you. So once you've learned how to do the roads and your street lamps, start laying out your road. Now in my city, I have made myself these giant squares or rectangles, basically getting circled around a road, which is a 111 by a 205 spot. This is basically one of my lots where I can fit a bunch of buildings, or heck, I can just excavate all this grass and turn it into a parking lot, which I have done in my city. So the easiest thing you can do is get a bunch of blocks, colored blocks, concrete, terracotta, wool, whatever you choose. And what I would suggest, turned off my blocks, what I would suggest is name all of your blocks to something, so you can easily distinguish which one is which and what your block should be making. So for instance, caps lock. So for instance, red and orange for me are just casual buildings. So this could be simple little stores, a brick building, just one of those small shops that you don't pay much attention to all the time. So like one of them could be a hairdresser. The other one could be a small little food shop and you wouldn't even realize it, or a convenience store. From what I'm remembering, yellow for me was a hotel. Lime green, alleyways. Green concrete, which was skyscraper. Cyan, which was office buildings. Light blue concrete, which were walking paths. So for instance, the light blue would be mainly something like this, the bricks. So if I wanted to extend my bricks, I build in light blue, which I'll show in a minute once I finish naming all these. This, which was blue concrete, which was gas station. Gotta have those. Right. Purple, which was parking garage. Magenta was restaurant. Pink, which was parking lot. Brown was road extension. I'm bad at writing, so sorry. So, for instance, the road extensions, which would be like if you made a parking lot, you need to get away from the road to the parking lot, so I would build in brown a little square to be where my road kind of connects to the parking lot. Just makes it easier to know where I'm wanting it. White, which was emergency buildings, so the police, fire department, stuff like that. Light gray concrete was what was it? I forget. Oh, apartments. I'd say light gray should be something different, but I'm just gonna keep it. If you want to change light gray, I don't care if you're gonna do this the way I'm doing it. Even dark gray, I just want to do this because they look nice. Add some city parks, and then black can be markets. Whoops. So I have it all written down. I've just been doing this a lot at my city, so there we go. So typically I get a shulker box of these, and then I have a few of these empty lots, and I just place the box with all these in there, and I take a look at what I want to do. You know, I've got a pretty good amount of space within these 205, 111 square blocks. You know, 15 of these are taken up by 5 smooth stone slabs and 10 bricks for the walking path. In reality, I could have kept this and made this area just 1 block, but I didn't like how it looked, so I just made it big. This area would be more of a spot you keep open for maybe like bikes, or you know, maybe the trees. If you wanted to decorate there, you can put the trees simply right here, which would look a bit better. But anyways, so you have this entire spot to work with. So yeah, I always carry my red and orange because I know I'm going to use those the most. Next best thing to do is grab your alleyway and a parking lot. Now you could end it right there, but that's no fun, because that just seems like a normal spot, just a bunch of buildings, a parking lot, and an alleyway once in a while. So I'd grab something like a skyscraper, maybe a walking path, and a city park. There. We're gonna try and make a city area with just these blocks. Now I tend to just do a little outline on how big I want the building and where I want the building. Now some other YouTubers, you'll notice, will, you know, where I want the building, so we might as well do it like this. So say I want this building to go right here. So all you need to do is outline it. Now, also, if you're questioning why I have both red and orange as just buildings, it's because sometimes when I'm doing it like this and I want to have a secondary building jutting off the side, I don't want a building in red, because it almost looks like I'm trying to make an extension. I just forgot to erase the line, so it's way easier just to build with a second color and alternate every time, if it wasn't obvious from why I did it like this. Now this is how I like to do it. I just like to keep this outline like this. Now there are some YouTubers that, you know, oh, they're just gonna give another outline, you know, I want it this tall, I want it to maybe the roof for this one to jut out, or, you know, come down, but then slope. You know, they want to start, you know, giving a full 3D outline. I don't. You can. You know, there's nothing wrong with it. You know, if it gives you more of an idea to remember what your build is, more power to you. I just like doing it like this and remembering what is what, because this is how I do it. Like I said, I'm showing you how I like to do it. If you want to do it like this, go right ahead. I don't care. This is just the way I'm doing it. So, you know, we just continue making these buildings. I don't tend to make these ones all too big, because they're just supposed to be like small business sized buildings. They're nothing big, nothing fancy. You can make them fancy, I don't care. But yeah, they're just supposed to be small. They're fillers, basically. So for instance, with the walking path, do it like that. Now originally when I started doing this with the city, I used to do yellow concrete to be like, this is where I want my entrance. You know, and then maybe like a little small back entrance. I used to do that, but then it just got in the way of me being all, I just want to build the building just to be the filler building. So I just kind of stopped. And you can even just, if you want to get creative with it, you know, maybe you want your walking paths to go all the way over here and connect up to that one. Say you wanted it like that. Here we go. There's one thing I like to do with the alleyways. I tend to make them 5 blocks wide. Just because it's a decent size, especially if, you know, you're gonna maybe fit some dumpsters in the back. And I tend to make it, you know, it's good to fill in some space with alleyways, especially if you don't know what to build. Gets rid of a few blocks. And also, I mean, for some of these businesses, they need an alleyway at some point, because if you want, fill in the area with some dumpsters, and then, you know, it gives some story. These are some small businesses. They need a place to throw out all their junk. So, boom. Then you can get another building. None of these buildings even need to be square, technically. I just find building a square building is a little easier, especially for something that are just filler. Now sometimes you're also going to end up with spaces like this. So maybe your shop, you know, you could extend it, but then you're like, maybe you have a design you like with that building that is only this big. Well, no reason why you can't expand your alleyway. I did this in my city, where I gave myself this small spot. It was actually quite a big spot in the middle of a few of these buildings. And what I made was a small basketball court. You know, something you would see with a couple kids that live in the neighborhood. Just play some basketball, the hoop in there, and you know, spray painted on lines and all that. And I have to say, it's probably my favorite alleyway, because I even put a custom head on the ground with the basketball design, and it looks amazing. So maybe right now we're just gonna finish off the way this part is. And trust me, after you look at it from the sky, a good before and after, you can definitely see what you're thinking of. Now, sometimes doing this with the curve right there, I didn't need to do that. Because now the alleyway really ends here. Because whatever I put right here could be a building. And it should be. The main problem that comes out of it right now for me is just trying to connect it to whatever the heck I just did here. So I should get rid of the big curve to it. But I can still make the building connect. There we go. So now it's a really small one that connects to this curve and to an alleyway. But now I also can, you know, make this alleyway a bit bigger if I felt like it. I guess the next part I should show. Parking lots. Obviously, I'm going to turn off my blocks because it's getting annoying. Obviously, parking lots are going to be a lot bigger. You want to fit your cars, or lack of, in Minecraft. So typically, obviously it takes up a decent bit of space. Oops. So usually, a spot like that, maybe a little bigger if you want to, can take up a spot for the parking lot. And since I built a parking lot, I should go and get my road extension block. Because I'm going to need it. There. Once you have your parking lot, obviously you're going to need a way in and out of it. I tend to at least make the parking lot entrance the size of one part of your road. Enough for at least, you know, if this can fit one car nicely. You should make it like that. So what I like to do is just make it fit, you know, 2. So we can get, maybe dependent if it's like this, you could fit a car going in and a car coming out. No tight squeeze, no problems. It's your city. Do what you want. You can make it small if you want to. As I say, this is your city, not mine. I'm just showing you how I like to do things. So there. That's how the brown ends up fitting into these blueprints. Now typically when you have a parking lot somewhere, you want to have somewhere that requires, you know, needing that parking lot. So I would suggest right here, thinking if we do a walking path that connects the parking lot up. And just remember, parking lot has to be the same level as the road. So where your pink is, you're going down 1 block. So I'm thinking, let's put a skyscraper, maybe, right here. And right here, and we'll make a walking path that leads up. Skyscraper. I'm just going to do a fill command. Green, that's gray, green, green, green. Concrete. Place there we go. There. Got something to fit your skyscraper. Some readjustment sometimes. I'm doing this off of a whim just to try and get at least a majority of these colors all put into this layout. These kind of things are finicky. Get the alleyway right here all connected. So there's a lot more space right here. Heck, if you want, you can literally just connect this area up and maybe if you wanted, you can make this area into a brown road here and have a bunch of dumpsters here, maybe meant for like garbage collection, if you felt like doing it like that. Now, I would say at this point then, alleyway would end there. Alleyway would end there. And then because of the skyscraper, I would replace this part with the walking path. If that's what we want to do here. Because there are some buildings that I've noticed, you know, they got a little front area, might have like a fountain, a sign, you know, a little spot to sit down for people walking by. Alright, so there. A big skyscraper building. A walking path area. Goes all the way, somewhat all the way around. Got a few buildings right here. Then you got your parking lot, which you can probably come up here and then walk down here if you felt like it. I think one thing I should do is actually angle this, start leading back into the city's street. That's what I should do. So it's more of an easier way from buildings back to all of this. Went a little high on that one. There we go. Yeah, I did not plan any of this out before I started. I just planned out having this giant area to work with. Alright. So that now we'll end it right here. And I'll have another building that lines up. Whoop. Well, actually, that does. There we go. Yeah, that's the one bad part about renaming your blocks. I mean, I could always just carry concrete and I know what I'm doing, but I guess the names are more for you guys right now. One good thing about some of these buildings is that, you know, they don't need to look all pretty and stuff. They can all have that one awkward shaped one. In my case, almost 4. Corner is always the weird one. So like for instance, this part right here would be great for a city park. What I like to do is just make an area with a bit of a pond, some trees. My favorite trees to use in the park is the cherry blossoms. Not only just because they look really nice and would be great in a, you know, whatever city you're working on. Brings a little more color, but it's the fact that if you're sitting, even just AFKing in your park, just for the, you know, maybe some inspiration, just to think, get your ideas out. You can just sit there and watch the petals all fall. And it's just a really nice sight to see. Alright, so maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe we expand parking lot just 2 more blocks here, so we can meet up with this area. Keep doing that. Best thing is, it's a city. It doesn't all have to make sense. Now, there's probably actual videos on how to build a proper city in Minecraft. So, you know, if you wanted to go by a law for the buildings, you can. And you don't have to listen to me. Just say do whatever the heck you want as long as you're having fun. But I mean, look at how this is already looking. I mean, that's interesting right there. You already have a skyscraper, a parking lot, walking paths, alleyways, and even the city park. So, like, I have a bunch of that already done. Now, what other stuff can I use? Now, you could do a parking garage, but I feel like that's better if you don't have a spot for a big parking lot. So you shouldn't really do that. A gas station would probably be good. I'm gonna go and give me back my red and orange. I didn't mean to get rid of those. Even though you guys probably know what it means. I have no doubt. Yeah, we'll do a office building too. But as usual, I mean, you don't need to do anything of what I'm saying to do here. Might see what I can do with a hotel. You literally don't need to do any of these suggestions. You can do whatever you want as long as you're enjoying building the city in your own way. You have full freedom. You know, I started building a city on an actual full-on world. No, not flat. I'd suggest if you're a beginner, make a city on your super flat worlds. Just to get the feeling of everything, and you don't need to worry about ruining terrain. Even though in reality I'm kind of like flattening out everything just to keep everything looking nice. That's a bit small for a gas station. Yeah, I'm flattening out a bunch of stuff, but I also mainly just didn't do a super flat because I wanted to have an ocean. So I feel like once you're ready and you want to have a nicer looking spot for an ocean, use a full world, find a nice spot you want to build. I'd suggest not doing it where there's a bunch of mountains. So try and find like a plains biome. Here, a gas station right there. And I'm thinking might want to thinking if we're gonna do a hotel, I would suggest doing something like this. Expand your parking lot. Oh, no, not like that, I guess. Oh, well, actually, we keep it going this way. So this is going to be a big parking lot. Because if you have a skyscraper and a hotel, you're going to need a lot of people to park. Which, I mean, still you could use the parking garages. They're pretty simple. Just make sure there's enough. Make sure you keep the parking spaces, I guess, the same width. And make sure you keep some spots open for the wheelchair accessibility. I guess this building can come out more. That part's gonna be interesting. I mean, I can always just move the gas station, I guess. But I feel like I don't want it connecting. No, I've seen some gas stations that have done that. Maybe this can be where the convenience part of it is, where you either pay for your gas or is, just the convenience store. I guess that could be where this part is. Yep. There we go. Now the alleyway isn't awkward. And start making a small... That would be... Make a small one just to get through with the hotel. I'm gonna put a hotel here. Now, obviously, a gas station would involve a little bit of a parking lot, but I wouldn't say it's that big. Alright. And then... when you think you have the size... So maybe I don't want this to be that big of a hotel. Maybe I just want it to be something big enough to fit a good amount of people, but not too big where it's just a really big fancy hotel. Plus this gives a decent area around the parking lot where you can walk around the hotel, I guess. Just editor me better be speeding up these processes. Okay. Well, I guess if I'm putting these right here, I might as well just connect them. There we go. Whew. And then for just the heck of it, we're gonna put a building. There we go. And of course, since we expanded that parking lot, we are gonna want to first off stop breaking the bottom blocks. we're gonna want to fix up where we want these extra road pieces. Because they can't just be sitting in random spots. Gotta at least have somewhere that is gonna be convenient for the people entering the parking lot. So I'd say starting here, 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here we go. There we go. It's 1. Get 1 on this side too. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. And as I usually say, you can do another one if you want. It's your city. I just do mine like this. So you have 2 ways in, 2 ways out. Or no, yeah, well, they both work the same way. But there. Oh right, and your gas station is going to need that exact thing too. So I'd suggest 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I suggest doing the same thing with your gas station, of course. People need their gas. There we go. Alright, so since I mentioned it, I mean, first off, before and after, my goodness, so much colors. Something I suggest doing when you're doing your parking lot, obviously, you're gonna have a good bit of space. You're gonna obviously have to go down a level, so you're leveled with the road. But when you're building your buildings, you're gonna be building on top. Right? Because, you know, you want your buildings to look all nice. But if you're not going to remove the concrete, that's going to be a bit of a problem. What I like to do is put some smooth stone underneath to make it look like it's a concrete platform. I mean, you could put actual, you know, you could put actual gray concrete or light gray concrete underneath, or heck, cyan terracotta. But I feel it matches a little too much with the parking lot. And I like, when I'm doing the parking lot lines, I like to do at least three blocks for your car to sit in, and at least have 5 blocks for each stripe. And then if you're doing one of the ones in, you know, over here where you got another, you know, the double one, I like to do at least do maybe like 7 blocks away from each line, so you can, you know, quote unquote fit your car through, but have enough room. You don't need to do the full, you know, 11 blocks if you choose to do the roads that size. So this is how I like to do it for my buildings and my planning for a city. It's always good to have that one shulker box full of named blocks, or at least, you know, colors, so you can plan out everything you need from small things like alleyways to big things like, well, buildings. So in the end, you can end up getting something like this into something like this. A city. After doing it that almost 12 times, I think, I've gotten it down to a point where I know what I'm building and know where I'm going to build it and how I'm going to build it. Sometimes looking up online some ideas. I've made a few buildings from what I've found online, and they look amazing in the city. So yeah, I won't be making another episode of this because I'm not going to work on this city specifically. Maybe I might do a video inside mine, actually building, everything in there. How about this? If this video can get 10 likes, if this video can get 10 likes, at least, I'll build this city piece in this world. And if you want, put in the comments what you want me to do next for how to build a city, because I need some ideas. I can't think of any more. Really, it was roads, streetlights, and lots that I find that people need some help with, because that's what I wish I had help with. Anyways, I'm rambling. I hope you enjoyed episode 3 on how to build a city, and I hope this helped you to build your future city. I'll see you in the next video. Be next Thursday, I think. Yes. Have a good one. Bye.